Hello, everyone. I spent about 10 minutes outside a couple of days ago. It's been extremely hot, and within 10 minutes, I caused a lupus flare. So I became curious, is there a connection between joint pain, lupus flares, and weather changes? I found some really interesting research that I want to share with you guys today. So let's talk about it. But first, let me introduce myself. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Marie. I suffer from several autoimmune conditions like lupus, rheumatoid arthritis, Hashimoto's, to name a few. I am on a mission to optimize my health, and I'm documenting it here on this channel. All right, so let's talk about this. Like I said, I went outside for about 10 minutes. Now, we've been having triple-digit heat, and we're expected to have triple-digit heat for the next few weeks. Now, I know when temperatures rise, I tend to have more lupus flares and joint pain and those types of issues. And in general, most of my symptoms just go way up on the pain scale. So I became curious, is there research out there that talks about weather and lupus in particular? So I found some really interesting research that was presented in 2019 to the American Rheumatology Association. This particular research actually tracked atmospheric and environmental changes and how it impacted lupus patients, and they were actually able to identify specific environmental or atmospheric changes to specific organ flares within lupus patients. The research tracked over 1,600 lupus patients that were diagnosed with SLE. They were able to pull information from the EPA and studied every lupus patient 10 days before they were admitted into the clinic for medications or lupus type symptom issues. This grabbed my attention because this is the first set of research that actually tied organ-specific flares with lupus patients and changes in the environment or atmospheric pressure. Now, I don't know about you, but whenever I complain to my doctor that the weather is making my symptoms worse, he usually kind of rolls his eyes and just nods his head. But this research actually made me feel a whole lot better. They were able to determine that an increase in temperature actually increases joint pain, sinusitis, which is inflammation around the heart and lungs. A higher temperature with an increase in ozone concentration caused higher amounts of renal flares, which is inflammation in the kidneys. An increase in humidity caused more joint issues or joint pain in sinusitis. Windy conditions actually caused more joint pain. That one blew my mind because windy conditions, who would have thought that would have an impact on our lupus symptoms? They also studied barometric pressure and if it applied to lupus symptoms. Now, they did not find a connection with a change in barometric pressure, which I found a little bit surprising. They did point out that pollution or wildfires and different things that cause pollution or ozone issues do exacerbate lupus type symptoms. They were able to draw conclusions that in the spring and summer, arthritis was worse than it was in the winter for some of these patients. I found this study extremely interesting and also comforting because when I tell my doctor that the weather is making my symptoms worse, or I'm struggling with something more in the winter or something different, struggling with something different in the summer, and he rolls his eyes, I can just point out this research. And I really hope they keep going in this direction. So how can we use this research to not only give us peace of mind, but help us with optimizing our daily lives? So we know that different changes in weather conditions and the environment or just different types of pollution can make our symptoms worse or even cause full-on lupus flares. So for me, when it's extremely hot, I'm not going to find myself outside very much. I'm going to try to limit my exposure to the extreme temperatures. And honestly, I already thought I was being careful when I went outside for the 10 minutes and stayed in the shade. And it was only and the temperature was only about 90 degrees at that time. I was actually surprised when I was sick for the rest of the day with a complete lupus meltdown or flare, as we call it. So moving forward, we can either choose to live in places that don't have extreme temperatures if our jobs or daily lives allow us to be able to move. But for the rest of us that can't move, we can limit our exposures to being outside when we are having extremely low temps or extremely high temps. And if I know what is exasperating my lupus, and now there's research to back it, I am able to make good, solid boundaries for my health to help me further optimize my life. If you found any of this interesting, be sure to subscribe so I can continue to make videos exactly like this one. I'll see you guys in the next video.